Friends, we need to talk about the future. When the stock market comes crashing down, sometimes there's this thing that happens because things don't move in a straight line, especially the market. It goes up and down, up and down. But when it crashes really hard, it has these bounces that come back up. And people are like, is this the recovery? Is this the bounce? But they have this term in the stock market called a dead cat bounce. Perhaps you've heard of it. And the idea is that if you throw something off the top of a building high enough up, even a dead cat will bounce, right? The idea is that that's just the saying. I didn't make it up, friends. Don't get mad at me. So there's this. So the idea of the dead cat bounce is that if the stock market comes down hard enough or a stock crashes hard enough, it will eventually kind of bounce just by the nature of having to move in the other way. And my question for everyone is the Donald Trump phenomenon, is the MAGA phenomenon really the political dead cat bounce? Have the leftists and liberals moved so hard, so fast, and covered so much territory? It's like a stock market crash that there had to be some kind of rebound to kind of catch it. But it's not a real turn. It's really a dead cat bounce. It's going to bounce, and then it's going to peter out and come out. And I'm going to share something a little bit pessimistic with you. I'm going to walk you through what's probably going to happen over the next number of years. And I don't know how high the bounce is going to go, but I'm going to tell you the mechanics of why it's going to fall apart. And the simple reaction is that we've had so many people come into our camp of wanting to turn back the clock a little bit. The problem is some of these people want to turn back the clock to 2022. Some of these people want to turn the clock back to 2021. Some of us want to turn the clock back to 1776, but the simple fact is that we all don't want to go back to the same time period. And we don't want to turn everything back, right? We want to turn some things back to 1980. We want to turn other things back to, 2001. We want to keep technology up at 2024. But there's this, we have brought so many people into this broad tent. And you see this with the Trump administration. He's got so many former Democrats on his in his cabinet and staff. And on one hand, it's exciting to see. Everyone's on board with this bounce, it seems like, except for the leftist wackos. The wackos are like, no, we need to change around the bathroom assignments, okay? And I think most, 76% of Americans are like not on board with that. They're pushing all sorts of wacky stuff. Some people are on board with the not bathroom reassignment thing, but they're not on board with a lot of other stuff that we want to take things back to. So as we have this bounce, we're all going to start off in the same direction. We need to turn the clock back. The question is that some people want to turn it back further than others. Some people want to change things more than others. Some people just want things to go back to normal. And as we start changing the direction, more and more people are going to be, well, okay, that's enough. That's enough. We don't need to change anymore. We get some deep staters on who are kind of like, those people over there are crazy. Yeah, I'll be in your camp for a little bit. But once we start repealing regulations, once we start firing bureaucrats, people are going to be like, I'm out. And as we start bleeding people, we're going to start losing political support. And so hopefully Donald Trump and crew can get a lot of stuff through early before we lose too many people. But as we make progress, start undoing what has been done, becoming unburdened by what has been, so to speak, and we become released into the future of what could be, there's going to be more and more people who don't like it. And I want you to be braced for this. And here's the hard word I have to say to you. I know a lot of people are like, we're winning, we've won. We voted the right people into office, so therefore it's all done. And I think a lot of you are not that naive to go, okay, well, it's over and there's not going to be any more battles and we're cool. We can go back to, deficit spending on our personal budgets, running up money on the credit card, and everything will be fine and dandy. I think most of you kind of realize, at least Even if you're cautiously optimistic, you realize this may not go where we hope it's going to go. Donald Trump may not be able to accomplish all that he wants to accomplish. He may start to try to accomplish things that we don't really like. I mean, who here was here for 2020? Remember Operation Warp Speed? Looking back on that, I think a few of us just cringed. Because remember, it was Donald Trump that gave all that money to the pharmaceutical industry to develop those pokies. Yeah, I mean, okay, so he got hijacked. I mean, I think most of us could agree that he got hijacked on that one. What happens if he gets hijacked again? Now, he surrounded himself with some nefarious people. He was doing better towards the end of his term. And I think he's done a lot better this time around, picking better people, more loyal people who are going to be working with him and for him as opposed to against him. He's going to have less people sabotaging him in the sense of at least in his immediate circles. But of course, in the deep state, he's going to have lots of people sabotaging him. And these people are all on board with sabotaging him from the outside and the inside. It's going to be a full-blown political food fight when he gets into office, right? It already is. So there's going to be resistance to him. There's going to be attempts to hijack him, to mislead him, feed him bad information. It's going to be a rough fight. And I know a lot of us are kind of like, well, I'm not really in the midst of that, so I can kind of step back and just kind of see how it goes. But my challenge to you is you need to be getting prepared for this thing to go sideways. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if Biden's going to drag us into World War III before Trump gets into office, and it's going to be something that we just can't undo. Or whether he's going to collapse other things before he leaves. He's trying to pull in a whole bunch more people across the border before that happens. And as the word gets out on what they've done, the programs, the flat-out treasonous things that have happened in the last 4 years is just beyond the pale. How they were like, well, we don't want people coming across the border, so what we'll do is we'll have them fly in. 40,000, 50,000, 100,000 a month being flown in so they don't have to come across the border, so they don't count on the numbers. People who just knew somebody, had one person vouch for them inside the United States, and boom, they get on a plane if they're coming from Venezuela or Cuba or some of these other places. Places that we really should be vetting people, and we shouldn't just be flying them in on government dime. And yet that's been happening, right? Can the United States be turned back? I don't know. Whether it can happen and whether Trump and team and the other people that are in Washington, D.C. that genuinely want to fix things, will they be able to succeed? I don't know the answer to that. But I will say this, that it's going to get harder and harder the further they go. They're going to start, and they're going to be able to accomplish quite a bit. Executive orders, hopefully get some legislation through that's going to undo a bunch of stuff, get rid of a whole bunch of regulations, start firing people within the federal government to downsize the government to a so that they stop going around murdering people's chickens and squirrels at gunpoint. It would be cool if we could pull that off. But at what point will they run out of gas? At what point will they run into a wall and things will come to a halt? Whether it's another impeachment scandal or thank goodness the mainstream media is losing more and more influence by the day. Who actually listens to the New York Times anymore? Has anyone heard from MSNBC since the election? I don't think so. I think a whole bunch of people tuned into MSNBC to watch the meltdowns. But other than that, I don't think they're relevant anymore. I think I just heard that Rachel Maddow, the Mad Cow, just got a $5 million reduction to her, well, ridiculous salary. But she lost $5 million off her contract because MSNBC is hemorrhaging money. Comcast has decided to basically sell off MSNBC because it's just losing them money. Spin it off to a separate company, and Elon Musk was kind of toying with the idea of buying MSNBC, which would just be, that would be wonderful. That would just be, the more liberal tiers there are, I don't know if I should feel that way, but the happier I get. So Matt Gaetz' whole thing, I don't know if I really like the guy so much. I mean, he is a bit abrasive, and he has done some great things, and he's talked about good stuff. He's brought attention to a lot of things. He's done battle with the dark forces for sure. I don't know if I like the guy, but I sure like how much he makes the left melt down. So, I mean, and there's some other people like that too. It's just like, I don't know if I sat down and drank coffee with this person, if I'd even like them, but, you know, I just like how they make the wrong people unhappy. You know what I mean? Anyway, so we got the force of this bounce is unknown right now. We got a bounce, and we're all breathing a sigh of relief, or at least most of us are breathing a sigh of relief. Some of you guys are flat out panicking because you see this from a completely different perspective. I get that. And you're going to be preparing, so that's good. I don't need to talk to you right now because you're going to be preparing anyway. But for those of you who are like, Trump is in, we're good, my challenge to you is to keep getting prepared. World War III is still out there. Trump may not be able to avoid it because it may hit him before it happens. And it may not be avoidable because when Trump gets into office, remember, he's going to be dealing with a military that is seriously degraded. The U.S. military is riddled with wokeism, and our enemies know this. Our enemies know that Donald Trump is going to turn the military around on a dime and start rebuilding it, and it's going to really make things a lot better, especially if they make it more efficient. If they make the spending more efficient, they don't have to spend a lot more money, they just have to make the money go to the right places. What happens if they cut a couple of these major stupid spending programs for capital restructuring of certain weapon systems, and they actually just pay that money to the soldiers? Actually raise the wages for the soldiers so that soldiers are proud, they can feed their families, and more people want to be soldiers again. And we bring the right kind of people in to really start turning things around. The quality of people really increase. They have the equipment that they need, the existing equipment that they need, not the future 2035 projected rearmament program for certain weapon systems with lasers and stuff like that, but rather like the weapon systems that we have now. We need more parts for Humvees. We need, I don't think we're using Humvees anymore, but Strikers and you know, even the Bradleys we got in action. You know, make sure that they're working and functioning. Make sure that our Navy ships are actually being painted. I don't know if you just saw that. There's some pictures going around of some Navy ships recently just covered in rust, and they're active duty ships, and it's just like, that's just embarrassing. Like, even the Chinese can paint their ships, you know, so it's like, why isn't that happening? Like, very obvious things, that very obvious signs of decay. Our enemies may want to go into World War III in the very early weeks, months of the Trump presidency before he can fix the military. Because they know if they wait too long, they're going to have to deal with a much stronger, much more competent military. So we may not be able to turn back from World War III. Financial crisis is on the horizon and is unavoidable, is going to happen. We're going to have a stock market crash. We have recession like you haven't seen it before. With government spending getting cut back, that's going to be a lot less money moving around inside the economy. And on paper, it's going to look really, really bad. It's going to go to the right places eventually. But right now, the fact is that we've been living off of our credit card as a nation. And if we stop living off our credit card, it's going to look like our income just dropped dramatically. And if your income drops dramatically, your lifestyle has to change. And there are serious belt tightening maneuvers that need to happen. And that's what we're about to go through. We're about to go on a diet as a country, and that's not going to be a comfortable experience. It's going to be a beneficial, long-term, fill us with hope experience, but it's going to be a hard, we're going to come off the sugar high, and we're going to have a sugar crash. Because we're going to stop stuffing our faces with candy financially and as a country, and it's going to hurt a lot of companies. It's going to hurt a lot of these companies that leech off the federal government, a lot of people that leech off the government, who refuse to get jobs, who either can work and just choose not to, or they shouldn't be here in the first place. Those people are going to be hurting. And that's the best case scenario. And here is the true fact, is that some people who really need help, who we want to help, are probably going to get cut along the way. And that's going to be hard because, these are going to be legitimate people with legitimate needs and legitimate reasons why they are where they are. And, regulations are going to take some time to get dialed in. There's always going to be some casualties along the way. When you do regulations, you're going to have some exceptions that get the short end of the stick. Some people are going to, some good businesses are going to be impacted very negatively. Some people are going to be impacted very negatively, and we need to be bracing for this, because it may be you, it may be me. They may go and shut down YouTube. That would be bad for me. They may go and they may lock something down that hurts your company. Perhaps they shut down another company, and that happens to be one of the major customers for your company, And without that customer, your company goes under. We're going to see a lot of that, because there's a lot of graft, a lot of grift, and we don't even know all the companies that are being supported by this deficit spending by the federal government. So all that to say, things may not go the way we hope they do, and even if they do go the way that we're hoping they will, hard times are ahead. I hope that you're getting prepared. I hope that you're not, I hope you're breathing a sigh of relief, but keep preparing. Keep helping those that you can help, and keep preparing as best you can. Not only for yourself, but also prepare for other people so that you can help people in hard times. All right, friends, hopefully you guys are on the same page as that. If not, let me know down in the comments down below. If you are, let me know down in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. Hopefully you guys have a great Sunday. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you guys later. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report out.